So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be a really awesome series. It's the first round of the second cup from the ESL Pro Series. It's the quest to find Germany's best gamer. And well, our first two players battling it out this evening is gonna be the red Zerg player in the lower right, representing XMG, SaltTheWound. And his opponent up to the top left, the blue Protoss player also representing XMG, we have Socke. So, a team kill. And this is gonna be a lot of fun. This is a single elimination bracket, and therefore whoever wins this best of 3 advances forward to get more points in the overall standings of the ESL Pro Series League. The loser, unfortunately, though, goes home, or doesn't go home, goes out in this first round of the second cup, and that is going to be a little bit of a problem. So, PVZ, what can we expect from this matchup? Well, actually quite a lot of fun, to be honest. Sorry, I just had to quickly solve something there. But yeah, a lot of fun, because PVZ is a very dynamic matchup. I cast a heck of a lot of it last night in the $400 best of 9 between Snoot and Huck. That was awesome. So, I've seen a lot of varied things, a lot of Swarm host plays coming down. So, this is gonna be awesomely exciting. I don't entirely know which way round this series is going to go, if either's favorited, because it's a team kill situation, so they likely both practice together a fair amount. They're probably very familiar with each other's different builds, and that makes things actually a lot more tense, because if you are aware that your opponent has a certain playstyle, there's different things that they like doing, there's always that kind of mind gaming of it. Are you going to try and go for your usual build? Or are you going to try and adapt to what your opponent does? Are you just going to go for something a little bit weird? Because your teammates, you know what the other is most favoriting at the moment, what they're looking to do, etc. Now, in terms of openings, we had a Nexus first come down from Socke up against a pool first out of SaltTheWound. He's adding on his hatchery behind this, so he's continuing on a pretty damn normal path throughout this early game. Behind this, Socke is going for the double assimilators. That's actually really important, because getting the double gases means that we know he's going to be relatively invested into tech quite quickly, especially since he's going up to 6 probes in each. 6 probes in total, 3 in each there. So what kind of tech will we be getting down once that cybernetics core is all finished up? Meanwhile, SaltTheWound, he is just droning, taking a third base and then droning some more, because that's what all good Zerg players like to do early on, unless they're going very aggressive, which is something we certainly could be seeing in this series. It is a best of 3, remember, so therefore you want to try and use those different opportunities to get a good advantage at some point. So the Cybercore is nearly finished up. We've got Socke here with getting close to 200 gas. Note that he did not skip the Zealot. He's adding in a Stalker, which is being chrono boosted off this, suggesting he's going to be looking to poke and prod a little bit. One lone Zergling is going to be a bit of a hero for SaltTheWound here. Comes on up, going to get a nice little scout around, sees the 2 gases, sees the Cybercore, checking there to see if there's any chrono boosts being spent on it, which may indicate a big gateway play coming quick off the mark, but doesn't spot anything, but also doesn't spot any tech. Socke throws down the Stargate back in the main base, knowing that it cannot yet be seen, as the Stalker chips away and kills that Zergling that was scouting. So SaltTheWound is somewhat playing blind at this stage. Unfortunately for him, he is not aware what his opponent is doing. But he does have some information, and being an incredibly good player, it's gonna be probably a bit of a deduction. He's saying, okay, well, there's 2 assimilators. I know he's getting a lot of gas. I haven't seen any additional gateways. No chrono boost on the warp gate. It's likely to be either a quick robo or a quick Stargate. Which it is. It depends. There's also the off chance that it could be a Twilight Council, for example, but judging by playstyles, judging their teammates, it's likely that SaltTheWound does have some kind of little tickle in the back of his brain saying, hey, Socke likes to do this build more often. So we'll wait to see if it is the Oracle that he's expecting. For now, no sign of any Spore Crawlers, no sign of any response at all, nor is there actually a Roach Warren at this stage. Just getting started now. But SaltTheWound does have an Overlord coming through to scout on in. Going to be trying to take a little peek at what's coming up. The Oracle already on its way across the map. But bear in mind, Socke is going to go straight for the main. Not coming in through the north route, not going straight across the map. He wants to sneak in the back of the main mineral line and get some damage down. So here we see the Overlord coming in, sees the Stargate, but even though he scouts the Stargate, he's already got a good idea of what kind of tech's going to be coming from this in terms of the Oracle, because production isn't still ongoing. If it was Phoenix, one would have intercepted that Overlord, and Voidways, well, they're not too likely, and if they were, there'd still be more in production. So the Oracle now coming in, gonna have to contend up against just the single Queen, which doesn't do that much damage too quickly. SaltTheWound, building a couple of emergency spore crawlers ASAP, but already this Oracle racking up a fair number of kills. 6 in total, doesn't die, and that really justifies its expense. 6 kills is probably the minimum you want to make it worthwhile, but it's still alive, so more damage can be done later. There's always going to be the option for Socke to come back in, or even if he doesn't go back in to harass more of that Oracle, he's still got the Revelation later on, which can be a very important tool. The Envision, if there's Swarm Host down, he'll get some detection from that nice and quick. Off the back of it, adding in both the Twilight Council and the Robotics Facility. The Twilight is predominantly going to be there to allow +2 attack to come through. Meanwhile, over on SaltTheWound side, he's happy getting out the Hydrogen, and despite losing 6 workers, he's still leveling the drone count, and because he's already on 3 bases, injecting all of them, he's got a heck of a lot of lava available in order to pump out a lot of drones. Back now comes this Oracle, picks off just 1 more drone, but it doesn't die still, just takes that shield damage, gonna keep poking, keep prodding, seeing if it can achieve too much more. And for Socke's sake, he's gonna be trying to get the maximum amount of damage out from that he possibly can. Back at SaltTheWound side, he's adding in that Infestation Pit with the +1 missile attack and also that Roach speed. With this Roach and Hydrogen down, it probably won't be Swarm Hosts off this Infestation Pit. Much more likely is he's using it to grab a quick hive and therefore access Vipers in order to get quick little abducts down on any Colossi, any Voidways, that sort of thing that could be causing him a bit of pain. Socke though, he's on 3 bases, so he's got a really good economy. He's only down by a single worker, which is just fantastic for a Protoss at this stage of the game. I'd say the biggest vulnerability of Socke at the moment is his lack of tech-heavy units. Or not even tech-heavy, lack of units. He's got a lot of sentries, but no sign of any Colossi, no sign of any Blink yet. It's only half done. And this is the first Immortal, so he's pretty much reliant on these gateway units plus 1 Voidway in order to defend pressure. And if we take a look at SaltTheWound, he's pumping out a good number of Hydralisks. He's going to be able to deflect those Oracles and the Voidways very easily if they do get overground. But more importantly, he's got the potential to really deflect any kind of ground-based push. The gateway count's setting up at 8, so off of 3 bases, 8 gates is not exceptionally high or anything. But oh, nice little pick off there. SaltTheWound able to kill that Voidway. Warp Prism though, that's on its way in. And this is a good kind of option for Socke. He could potentially get a good amount of damage down with this if he drops while obviously distracting the main army of the Zerg by moving in with this small gateway force and his air units towards the 3rd. A couple of Zealots clean up the single Ling that was poking and prodding at that probe line, but all in all, this is looking a relatively passive game for the most part. Less than 1,000 minerals lost each at 12 minutes. And Socke now just taking that 9th and 10th gate, which is a lot more standard, and also looking to secure up a robotics bay in order to go into that Colossus tech. So 10 roaches, 11 roaches now coming through, and SaltTheWound is getting pretty focused on getting some kills down. All of this army, it did recall back actually. That Mothership core lost 100 energy. So a quick recall back to safety from over on the right hand side of the map. And with this recall, I highly doubt that we're going to see much done. But Socke, he's achieving a good amount. He's coming in with a fair few Zealots. Going to be trying to harass here. But that triggers SaltTheWound to move in towards the 3rd. These force fields zone out quite a few units. There's a couple of Hydras and a handful of Roaches moving down towards the 3rd. But this makes a big split in the Protoss army. The force fields, they're going down well at the moment though. And as we can see, it's preventing this from really doing too much. Socke taking a very nice trade, losing only 4 workers. While back at the main of SaltTheWound, he's forcing all of the reinforcements to stay at home and defend, because these Zealots threatened a lot of damage. Although they didn't manage to achieve that much, the Warp Prism did stay alive, and as a result, that harassment is still ever present and ever possible, at least until it goes down. So a really good pick off there for Socke. He's playing this well, keeping it back and forth. SaltTheWound just not really getting the opportunity that he was looking for by trying to take out this third. And one thing I haven't really touched on is that SaltTheWound is still on those 3 bases. He's sitting level economically with Socke, and that always favors the Protoss player. And Socke is actually ahead in terms of the timing of the 4th base. His is already just past the 30-second done mark, and with a Zealot defending the 4th location of SaltTheWound, well, he can't do anything to try and stop that. So this is a little bit annoying. If this game goes long term, Socke is definitely ahead, not only in the worker count, but also just in the base count. Blinkstalkers move forward. They go through a good little trade against some roaches. The force field's still doing a great job, although the sentries are near the front, so a couple of those will get picked off by the Hydralisks in their vastly superior range. Still though, gentle, careful movements coming down from SaltTheWound. However, his army not looking that sizable. Gets a nice position here, but the force fields are going down. A couple more towards the south. Keep this concave from being too crushing. The Colossus having to move back away to safety. Re-engaging, now it is a bit more secure, and that splash damage from the Colossus with the +2 doing a lot of work. GG is called, and Socke is going to take game number 1 of this best of 3.